And a good morning to you. Welcome to hour number two of the Art Lewis Show. Nice to have you with us. Coming up this weekend is the Pinconning Cheesetown Festival. You heard me right. It's been going on a lot of years celebrating cheese. This June 4th was National Cheese Day, and of course the stores up in Pinconning Cheese and Wilson's Cheese both celebrated National Cheese Day. Now they get to celebrate it on a weekend. Cheesetown. And with us this morning, he heads up the festival, he heads up the stores, and we say good morning to Brian Saha. Brian, good morning.
Good morning, Art. Thank you for having us here.
Good to see you. I always like to start when we talk about what I call, what's the word I'm looking for? Archival businesses in some way that have been around a long time. I always like to start with the history of those businesses. And certainly there's a lot of history involved in the cheese industry in Pinconning, isn't there?
Oh, correct, Art.
How did it start there?
Big history. Going back to pre-1915, Dan Horn moved here, an immigrant from Wisconsin, a Russian immigrant who was a cheesemaker in Wisconsin, moved to Pinconning to join his sister or his family here. At that point in time, the fields and the land lay was all timbered out, and pastures became a prominent land use for the land surrounding the area. All the timbering was logged out, and the land was cleared. And
brought in what, dairy cows?
Yep. So the use of the land by the people who were in the area were dairy farms, and of course at that point there was a lot of refrigeration, of course, and they had more of a use for milk and then the cream, and he started making cheese. Moved here as a cheesemaker and built a factory and started operating that factory in 1915. Then throughout that area of time, there was multiple creameries that sprung up too surrounding the Pinconning area. Pinconning Creamery was probably the first one, and I think it was 1906 they opened up. But anyway, the Horn family was instrumental in creating the Pinconning cheese and Pinconning formula, and the promotion through the years that made the designation of Pinconning, the cheese capital of Michigan.
And were either of the two companies today, Wilson's or Pinconning Cheese, started back then?
Actually, the Horn Cheese Factory was called, Dan Horn. He had a grocery store attached to the cheese factory, so he began selling the cheese at the grocery store. It was more of a general store with all kinds of groceries, but of course the main product of his production, the cheese, was one of the main products there. It was a family operation with his family, his daughters. Inez Wilson was Horn. Inez Horn Wilson was the daughter of Dan. So he and they partnered and operated the store for many years. She grew up, moved down to Detroit, Inez that is, and married Lawrence. And in her later 20s, 30s, early 30s, she moved back from Detroit area and came back to help her father with the factory and the store. Operated that operation in the current location, which was across from Wilson's Cheese Shop at this point, the original factory location on Horn Street in Pinconning, and basically outgrew the store. She had plenty of ideas being from the metro area way back when, and marketed the cheese products, and of course Pinconning, going up north from Detroit area, was actually US 23, went through the heart of Pinconning, which is the main thoroughfare to go north. So all the traffic came right through the heart of Pinconning, and those that came through naturally stopped in Pinconning to pick up some cheese in the restaurant and gas up. So It was a tradition for those folks then, and it carried on through generations to where we sit right now in 2026. So we see so many different families of generations that come through the stores and say, well, my grandfather brought me here. I brought my kids and so on and so forth. So, but it's been a tradition for many, many, many years. And going back to the history, Inez made the move to build a new, bigger store across the street from the factory, and that became Wilson's Cheese Shop, which opened. The new store opened actually in 1942. She officially took over the old grocery store in 1939, so that's when it was organized. As Wilson's Cheese Shop sits, it sits on the same location. Basically, the store's been added on several times. When you come in, you can see where the old store was and the expansion through that.
And at what point did Pinconning cheese come along?
Pinconning cheese came along in 1948, actually 1946. Another sibling of daughter of Dan Horn and sibling of Inez.
This sounds a little bit like a Frankenmuth story, where the siblings are here and there and everywhere.
Yeah.
You know.
Actually, it was two sisters that opened. Each had a cheese retail operation. And that became a Bennett cheese store, and 2 years later, she sold out to the McCourt family, Alex McCourt, and they renamed it Pinconning Cheese Store at that point in 1948. So those two stores have been operating continuously since 1948 and 1939. So we're celebrating a long history of commerce in cheese, and of course a destination for the folks going north through all those years.
What got you involved?
Born and raised in Pinconning. We always had a pound of cheese on our table during supper. My mom and dad were cheese lovers. I actually worked at Wilson's through my high school and college years. Worked there, so got to know the Peacocks, which later on Merton, Virginia Peacock, where Virginia was a daughter of Inez Wilson. So she brought the Peacocks in the mid-'60s to help her with the store, and they became the operators and owners. But anyway, worked there for about 4 years and got my taste of the retail operation and their operation, and they were great people and great employers, and always had that in the back of my mind. And after that, through college, I actually worked also at Kraft. Kraft had a plant in Pinconning for many years.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah, they opened in I think 1936, and they sold it in 1993. So they were the main big producers of cheese, and I worked there through a couple summers in college, and actually saw the production side of it, actually making cheese and packing the whole process from taking the milk in, pasteurization, to cooking the milk down to formulate the cheese, and making different varieties and packaging it. So had everything else, and after I graduated from college, I actually was in the medical field, medical management, and friends of the family said, well, we want to retire, and this was Pinconning Cheese, want to retire, and came up with that opportunity, so I made the switch from going from the medical management to owning a cheese store. So me and my wife, and it's been a great and happy life since, and that was in 1987, so we've been there almost 40 years.
And then at some point, the two merged.
Yeah, two merged. We bought Wilson's Cheese in 2014, so we've been 11 years with that operation there.
When was the last time cheese was actually made in Pinconning?
After Kraft sold, there was another company that came in and bought it, and they operated for about About 10 years. So right around the year 2000, they closed and the facility closed. They tried to get another operator to come in and keep producing some type of cheese there, but it failed.
And all the cheeses in the stores are your recipes, but you contract to have it made.
Correct. Yeah, we've been contracting with one main contractor for about 20 years now, and our old one, their factory burnt down, which was in the UP Rudyard. We contracted with them for many, many years. Prior to that, but they use still the original formula that was developed by Dan Horn to do our style of cheese, which Pink Island cheese is a Colby cheese, just a little different variation, which allows it to be aged too. So it ages like a cheddar, but it tastes like a Colby. Colby's a lot creamier than the cheddar. Cheddar's more drier, pastier tasting. But anyway, it's unique, and the uniqueness of it allows us to age it up to 15 years. We have squeaky mild, which squeaks in your teeth. It's fresh,
Yeah.
less than a week old, super aged up to 15 years.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. Come back. We're going to talk about the Cheesetown Festival this coming weekend and all the things happening in Pinconning after these notes.
Got a home repair problem? Don't get
And we're back with you in studio with me, Brian Saha from Pinconning Cheese and Wilson Cheese. Coming up this weekend, the 19th through the 21st, is the Pinconning Cheesetown Festival. How long have we had this festival?
It actually goes back to late 50s, early 60s.
Oh, that far back?
Yeah. There was a couple of years when Chamber of Commerce always sponsored it. Couple of years in the 80s, I believe, where the actual festival didn't organize or operate, and that's where the Cheesetown race became a part, or started at that point in time when there was a vacancy per se with the festival combined with the Cheesetown race. So, but continuously it's been since the early 60s. I can go back since I was born in 59, and my parents had a cheese clothing store in Pink Island, so they were involved with Chamber of Commerce, and they were part of the committees every year to put on the festival. So I was involved with that as a kid, selling tickets and enjoying the amusements and the rides and in the carny games and all that stuff. It was a fun time being a child in Pink Island when the festival was on. So
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yep.
So what are the various parts of the Cheesetown Festival? There's lots of activities going on. So let's run through it chronologically. Let's start with the 11th.
Yeah, sure.
The 19th.
Yeah. Actually, yesterday, Tuesdays in the Park, our summer series of concerts in the park, City Park, which is City Park's on the north end of town, adjacent to Wilson's Cheese, and across from Pink Island Cheese, the Little League fields and that. But anyway, that's where all the events are going to be happening. Started last night with our concerts in the park, Tuesdays in the Park, and of course we had a rain out last night, and it moved into our community center, so that was not a big deal, but it's always better to be at the band shell within the park. So that started last night. Tonight is a kickoff party for the summer reading program sponsored by the Pink County Library, which is the Bay County Library System. That will be from 5 to 7, and it's geared towards kids. There'll be live music, touch a truck, vendors in the park also. Lawn games, bouncy houses. This is all a free event. Kona Ice will be there for the kids, and there'll be some food there too with our Pink County and
I bet there'll be cheese.
Pizza Los. Well, the cheese will be at the stores, but
Yeah.
but we'll be serving our Pink Island Pizza Los there too, which is one of our specialties at the Pink Island Cheese Company. So that's from 5 to 7 tonight at the park, and tomorrow, Thursday, is a kind of a day off. Still things accumulating there. All the Scarbeck's amusements will be in the park, opening at Midway. They're all assembling right now and putting up their stuff, so there's a lot of activity in the park right now. Friday is really the kickoff at 5 p.m. The festival actually opens with the mac and cheese contest at the community center, which is right on the park grounds, right next to Wilson's Cheese is the community center. That boasts who has the best mac and cheese in town. All the restaurants put out a dish, and it's a paid event. It's $10 to come in, but you get your fill of mac and cheese, and you go around and sample each business's mac and cheese recipe, and then you vote on it. And whoever gets the most votes gets to wear the crown and the plaque for that year, who has the best mac and cheese in Pinconning. So Pinconning Cheese has won it, not last year, but the 2 years prior to that in a row. But everybody's recipe is really great, and it's always a fun time for that. The Midway will be open at the same time, so all the events will start in the park. Vendors in the park also. There'll be some music in the park too. Saturday is the big day for the festival. It starts off at 11 a.m. in the morning with the cheesy parade.
I love the name.
Yep, and all the businesses and whoever wants to be participants in the parade come and join that event. It's usually about a half an hour long. It goes through the old downtown, starts at old downtown, which is Kaiser Street in Pinconning, and works its way to the park where the events are. So that's about a half an hour. Then everything kicks off from there. There will be touch and truck, bouncy houses too, and games for the kids. Of course, the amusement rides will be open. And throughout the day, there will be music at the park, and of course, vendors, a flea market in the park also.
Does the whole town come together for this?
Oh, definitely. Businesses in the community, as far as volunteers, help with the event. Public safety is there, the Pinconning Police, Bay County Sheriffs, with Pinconning Township involved with that too. The fire departments are all there with the touch a truck, and kids enjoy all that too. So from a civic and commercial aspects, a lot of people are involved to make the event happen. So a lot of volunteer time. So
we're going to take a break, come back. We're talking to Brian Saha from Pinconning Cheese and Wilson Cheese, and the big Pinconning Cheese Town Festival this weekend.
Ready to update your home and
Back with you in studio with me, Brian Saha from Pinconning Cheese and Wilson Cheese. We'll come back to the Cheese Festival here in just a minute, but I want to know, everything in life, technology has touched everything. Every appliance we have, everything we have in the home is computer controlled. Has technology impacted cheese manufacturing? Or is the cheese of today the same cheese that came about in 1915?
Well, obviously, it's a better quality of cheese, from the pasteurization process to make it safer, and
right.
From the health aspect, as technology has gained a lot with the safety and the food grade of the cheeses. In technology, from a production standpoint, the mechanization of the facilities has also advanced greatly, with everything that's available at this point. So it's a lot more mechanized, obviously, than would have been in 1915, versus manpower versus mechanical. So the quality standards are more consistent that way. So you're going to have the same taste or quality of the cheese from every batch versus back in the 50s. that may vary because the enzymes put in were an ounce off or something to that effect. So to make the cheese or milk coagulate into cheese. So, the standardization of the formulas and from that aspect helped a lot for getting a quality cheese that is consistent tasting, and making it better to age also.
But whether it's mechanized or human formed, cheese is cheese, isn't it? There are certain basics that don't change.
Correct. There's the formula to make it. You got to use milk. You got to use some type of enzyme to make it coagulate and to create cheese. So that goes back centuries. That same process. It's just a matter of consistency and making it accurate to make the outcome of the cheese consistent.
How can they start with the milk? How many? There's got to be 1,000 different kinds of cheeses. What's different about them? What makes them different?
Well, it's the process of what's added in the formulation of the cheese and how long it sits in the vat from the amount of heat applied to make the cheese or the milk coagulate into cheese curds, and the amount of cream that's eliminated from the milk. So heavier cream content makes it more creamy, obviously, but like your Havartis and your Colbys are creamier. The drier ones, like a cheddar, a lot of the cream or butter fat is a lot of it. This is more removed to make it drier. From a flavor aspect, those flavors are added to make a hot pepper cheese, or using the Colby style, or different additives are added to make it flavored, or different processes are done through the production process to make a Swiss cheese or a blue cheese in different varieties.
Am I wrong that cheese is one product where mold is acceptable?
Yeah, actually, cheese is supposed to be defined as a mold culture. So
by its very nature.
By its very, very nature. So, my old great uncle or uncles, they always said, well, a lot of people now, I got a pound of cheese and I got mold on it, I threw it out. Well, the old folks, and I was brought up, you just scrape that off. That's part of the cheese. And of course, my old Uncle Joe, he said, I always ate the mold because that was a form of penicillin back then. So anyway, it's not a thing like if you get mold on a meat or something, you toss it. But that's part of the cheese. And actually, blue cheese is a mold culture that's inside the cheese. So that makes it blue.
So if I came up to, say, Pinconning or Wilson, and I bought a hunk of Colby cheese, took it home, kept it in the refrigerator, what kind of longevity can I expect out of that?
Longevity, if you keep it in a Ziploc bag, you can keep it forever, but you're going to start getting surface mold on it, and it'll start going inside your hunk of cheese. But
still doesn't destroy it, right?
No, it doesn't. What you want to do is keep it in check. If you see a surface mold on it, if you see it in your refrigerator that's starting to mold, cut and destroy. Toss that portion out. But generally, we would tell most people will consume the cheese within a couple of weeks. It'll last longer than that in the refrigerator, of course. We date our cheese. Everything's vacuum packed at this point, which
seals it up. Yeah.
Prolongs the longevity of the cheese. But if you don't open that seal, like our aged cheese, we age up to 15 years. So,
how does that change the cheese? What if I took a piece that was a year old and a piece 15 years old? What am I going to see as the difference?
It dries out naturally inside the vacuum.
Less creamy?
Less creamy. It dries out, becomes more like a cheddar, more drier, flakier. the salt that is added to the cheese in the production process will start to crystallize. So you get those little chunks of salt in the cheese as it ages, and that becomes more prominent 7 years plus, 7 years to 15. You'll start getting that salt chunks in the cheese that will formulate and crystallize. Becomes drier, flakier. It's more difficult to cut as it becomes more aged, so it's more crumbly.
You have an aging facility on site?
Yes,
you age it there.
We age all our cheese, yep. So direct from the factory, we store it, use it as it ages up the process from our different flavor profiles. Our profiles are mild, medium, sharp, extra sharp, super sharp, then super aged, going up to that 15-year mark.
Is that what happens as it ages? It becomes sharper?
Yes. Yep. So sharpness means that it's more of an aftertaste in your mouth. So the sharper it is, the more aftertaste you have with your taste buds. Usually, as you get older, you like the sharper cheese. I like them all. I'm still a mild fan too, as I like that squeakiness when you bite in the cheese with real fresh cheese out of the vat, less than a week old. But I like the super sharp stuff too. Going up to the 15s, and we have some cheddars right now that are 20 years old.
Whoa!
Some are smooth and some are rough. So a lot of the cheese, like we talk about consistency, but when they start aging, they kind of each block has its own personality. When you open it, it may taste different. So
it's like aging a fine wine.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, we'll take a break and come back. We're talking to Brian Saha. This coming weekend is the Pinconning Cheesetown Festival. More on that when we return.
Gotta go to Godwin's.
This week, take advantage of red, white, and boom savings at Godwin.
All right, we're back with you. One final segment with Brian Saha. He heads up the Pinconning Cheesetown Festival and also heads up Pinconning Cheese and Wilson Cheese Shops. In scanning through these events, I see a cheesy pro wrestling. What is it?
Yeah, actually, it's a UCW wrestling event. It started last year. It's at a different location. It's at the corner of Pinconning Road, which is 5th Street, and M13, which is Maple Street. So it's right at the light in Pinconning. Yes, so it's an outdoor event. They'll have it all set up, and it's a paid event too. They're going to have music there also, so it's a different location than the actual festival, but it's about a quarter mile away. You'll have to pass it to go to the festival if you're coming from the south. So that starts at 5. I think it's a two-hour event. So, and it's $15 for that to get into that paid event.
And tell us about the Cheesetown Road Challenge race.
Yep, Cheesetown Road Challenge has been a consistent event since the 70s, actually. And that starts at 6 o'clock. Sign-ups can be, if you want to have a late registration, it'll be at the community building during the mac and cheese contest too. So you can come in the community center and sign up for the race too. You can also do it online at their Facebook page. And but you can do it in person and come in person before the race, and you can register too. But that event starts at 6. The race will start at 6. That's a 5K, a 2K, and a Little Mises 100-yard dash. So you get the kids involved, and it's a great event. There's prizes for that for all the people that sign up for the race and participate in it. So that starts at 6, and throughout the day. On Saturday, of course, there will be vendors in the park. Noon to 4, there's going to be a petting zoo for the kids. With Penny Pastures will be there. Noon to 2 is a touch of truck with the fire trucks, tow trucks, ambulance, police cruisers, tractors, and more. Also this year we have a BYOB tent that will be next to the a band shell, and there'll be music playing at the band shell, but the BYOB will be a designated area where you can bring your booze and enjoy the music there. That'll be open until it ends that night, which will conclude with our the music there too is actually provided by Viva Rex. They're a great band. Conclude that night at dusk with our Cheese-tacular Fireworks, which is a great half-an-hour program. People come from all over for that. It rocks the whole city and a great event at the park.
Okay, so we got to end with this. What's happening in the stores? Got to mention it.
Yeah, well, we're running specials all through the month of June is our cheese month, but it kicked off with the National Cheese Day on the 4th. We run specials all through the summer. Basically, this month too coincide with the festivals, both on our online e-commerce sites at WilsonCheese.com and PinkCountyCheese.com. Run specials through the month and through the summer for celebrating the cheese festival and National Cheese Month. We call it the month versus the day.
Yeah. So let me ask Brian, of all the cheeses you sell, is there one cheese that sells more than anything?
Yeah, it's still the Squeaky Mile is the best seller. The fresh, right out of the vat cheese, and of course the cheese curds is Squeaky Mile, but not compressed into a block yet. So between those two products, those two products are the best sellers.
And you have lots of spreads.
Yeah, we produce many flavors. There's probably 15 to 20, and more seasonally. We'll do dessert spreads with like blueberry cream pie, banana cream pies, in the summertime. Winters, we do specialty spreads coinciding with Thanksgiving and Christmas. So anyway, we do a lot of different varieties from hot to horseradish. Horseradish is the most popular from the spreads to the standard. But there's a lot of different variations that we do and mix at each store. So they're custom.
You mix them at the store? Those are made locally, aren't they?
They're made locally. The bases come from our manufacturer, but we mix them locally to add our ingredients.
Well, Brian, look, first, thanks for coming down today. And sorry, folks, but there's a cheese spread in our kitchen this morning.
Yes, enjoy.
Brian brought some samples. We'll look forward to seeing you at the Pinconning Cheese Town Festival this weekend.
Yes, well, thank you. Thank you, Art, for having us.
Always. Brian Saha from Pinconning and Wilson Cheeses and the Pinconning Cheese Town Festival. It goes on this weekend. We'll take a break and be back to close out the hour, tell you what's ahead next.
At Crystal Clear Hearing in Saginaw.
All right, our thanks to Brian Saha for coming down. Pinconning Cheese Town Festival, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Also, coming up is a Juneteenth festival in Bay City. We're going to find out about that next here on Focus. But before we do that, we'll have news from ABC and the local report in the WSGW newsroom. That's all ahead. Talk to you after that.
Broadcasting from the